Boxing truth here. Mikey Garcia thinks he can outbox Errol Spence, the flat-footed Errol Spence. Another call out by Mikey Garcia. Whether you want to take it seriously or not, that's really up for you to decide. But at least this is a realistic call out, and that's why he's saying he'd rather take the Errol Spence fight than Lomachenko, because the reality is that's the more makeable fight in Mikey Garcia's realm, and that's the PBC. He's on that side of the street, and he's pretty much has everything planned out of what he wants to accomplish, what he wants to do, and he's calling out Errol Spence, the flat-footed guy, straight up and down, no special effects, that can be outboxed, but a difficult task because of his southpaw style, his southpaw jab, his physicality and size and punching power, and grind you down style that he possesses in the ring. Mikey Garcia sure has a lot of plans, but he has a dangerous opponent that he needs to concentrate on. That's Lipinets, a fight that he was paid more in order to avoid HBO when Linares' team offered him a fight earlier this year, around this time frame. But now Mikey, that's pretty much the plan, to stay on this side, fight the biggest names possible, and then eventually challenge one of the welterweight champions. But he's right now only calling out Errol Spence because he sees it as a more winnable fight. Sees it as a more favorable matchup in terms of the styles compared to a Keith Thurman fight. He's not really calling out Keith Thurman. The style's all wrong for him. All that movement, all those angles, punching off movement. It's not the type of style Mikey wants to fuck with. He'd rather have an aggressive guy come towards him to where he can pick him apart from the distance, from the outside, and show that his superior precise punching and better technique will overcome the physicality of the welterweights. Errol Spence is the type of style that Mikey could look good against. I have no doubt that Mikey could outbox Errol Spence for a certain number of rounds, but the question is, can he outbox him for 12 rounds of a fight? That is the major question. He has he's very precise, he's experienced, good counter puncher, great 1-2, great technique, sharp with his punches, and he's a good distance fighter from range, especially when he has an aggressive opponent coming at him. That's where he could take advantage of his opponents, like he did Slack Teaching. Slack Teaching had a reach for him. He was able to capitalize and land, counter shots when Slack Teaching would attack. With Errol Spence, though, he could outbox him, but will his gas tank will hold up in a welterweight fight? It'll be a very physical fight, much bigger guy, a lot of size he will have to deal with. The belief is he'll eventually get chopped down, get worn down by Spence's size and power and physicality, and eventually get stopped in the later rounds. But I can see why Mikey sees it as a winnable fight, feels he has the superior skills and boxing ability to keep Errol Spence at a range, at a distance, to where he could outpoint him. But the thing is, I seriously doubt Mikey Garcia could put a dent in Errol Spence. Seriously doubt he could hurt Errol Spence. He couldn't even hurt Adrian Broner. Buckled him a couple of times, but didn't really show much firepower or punching power in this fight. So this Lipinets fight is really going to be the test to see if Mikey can compete with the two welterweights that he's gunning for. Well, really, he's gunning for Errol Spence, since it's a more favorable style matchup. Keith Thurman, he won't be able to deal with the foot speed, the footwork, and the counter punching and hand speed that Thurman brings to the table. Just too difficult of a style for Mikey to deal with. Won't be able to deal with the attributes that Keith Thurman brings. But the Errol Spence fight is winnable. It's a winnable fight. But it's a fight that he could get seriously damaged in and broken down. So Mikey's test against Lipinets will tell a lot if he could beat any potential welterweight out there. But here's the thing. Now Mikey's he's definitely feeling better after the proposed negotiations with Linares and Lomachenko are pretty much dead. Both sides are definitely to blame when it comes to that fight not getting made. There's definitely both sides. You can spread the blame to both sides when it comes to that. But the thing is, Mikey's going to go through this same situation like last time. If he beats Lipinets, he's going to have to choose once again, just like he chose the last time to bypass the Linares fight. He's going to have to choose money over legacy. So now that Linares is asked out with the Lomachenko fight, they need a big fight. They're not going to just pick someone from the rankings. The mandatory will be due once again. So Golden Boy and Linares, they need a big fight. So they're going to wait and see what happens March 10th between Garcia and Lipinets. And if Garcia wins, they're going to offer him a fight on May 12th on HBO. But here's the thing. Once again, Mikey will be left with a dilemma of whether to choose money over legacy. He's going to go to his advisor, which is Al Heyman, and he's going to say, Al, Golden Boy and Linares' team offered me a date on May 12th on HBO to fight on their network and, you know, for a unification fight. What do you think about that? And then I'll say, well, Mikey, I don't think it's a good idea. Why risk yourself and go to another network and risk getting robbed by HBO and Golden Boy? I have a better opportunity for you. One for just as much money, or possibly even more. How about a unification fight against Francis Barthélemy at 140 pounds? You'll get a unification. You'll get the same type of purse, maybe even a bonus. Since it's a unification, you get to stay on the Showtime side, and if you win, I'll get you one of the welterweight champions, which is going to be Errol Spence. And Al Heyman in his head is going to say, you know what, I can use Mikey's star power to build up Spence. If Mikey can defeat Lipinets, if he could defeat Francis Barthélemy, Heyman's just going to set him up with one of his other more favored fighters, which is Errol Spence. He'll try to use his name recognition to build Spence up. But that's a long way down the road. That's if Mikey even gets past Lipinets, but that's what's going to happen. He's going to be offered something better on the Showtime side. That's an offer he won't be able to refuse. And then this Linares fight's not even going to happen. He's just going to stay on the Showtime side. He's going to call out a bunch of people to where there's not much action coming from Mikey Garcia. He's taking good fights, but not fights that the fans are dying to see him in. He's going to call out Anthony Joshua. He's going to call out Canelo Alvarez. But those fights are not going to occur. He's mostly going to fight guys on the Showtime side and stay on the PBC side and stay with Heyman and see if they can build him up to get beat by one of their more favored fighters. Just like they try to set him up in the Adrian Broner fight. So let's see how this Lipinets fight plays out. I'm very interested in the fight. Lipinets is a major underdog, over about 11-1 last I checked, but he's a good fighter. He's much stronger, much more. He has a size advantage in this. I'm not sure if he can outskill Mikey. Probably not in that department, but maybe he could outfight him, outpunch him, outstrengthen him, and maybe overpower him to where Mikey, he's gonna have to dig deep in this fight, and it won't be any shortcuts like the one he took against Orlando Salido when the going got tough. He's gonna have to bite on his mouthpiece and continue fighting. Won't be able to quit and get just a technical decision. So I expect a very tough fight March 10th, It's going to tell me a lot about Mikey's ability, whether he can deal with a much bigger guy who is a much better fighter than compared to Adrian Broner. And this is going to be the potential fight to see if this guy can beat any welterweight in the world, let alone Errol Spence. But Mikey definitely thinks he can outbox flat-footed Errol Spence Jr. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.